Again, as I mentioned in the previous lesson, this is not a word processing application. This is a drawing application. So Visio, although we're not creating long documents like we might in a Microsoft Word, we are creating drawings that contain text. And whenever there's text to be entered, well, you know that mistakes can happen. So there is a spelling feature that allows us to check spelling for an entire diagram. So what we're going to do is open up another drawing. We'll go to the Open button up here, navigate to the Lesson 11 folder of your exercise files if you need to, and we'll open up Process 11E here. Double click it, or one click and open, brings it up on the screen. Alright, so yours may look the same as mine, or you may be seeing a different part of the screen. That's irrelevant right now. What we're going to do is check the spelling for this entire drawing. And we find spelling under the Tools menu. Now, just before we run the spell checker, which by the way is F7 on your keyboard, let's check out the spelling options. So we give that a click and the dialog box opens up. You can see that by default we are going to ignore words that are in uppercase. So if we type it all in uppercase, it can be a word that's not recognized in the dictionary and it will be skipped over. Other words that will be skipped over are words that contain numbers. That's by default. But again, you can check or uncheck any one of these boxes. It's up to you. Ignore internet and file addresses. In the past, this used to be a pain. Every time you came across a www.something, it would stop there. Same thing went for file addresses and email addresses. So with this checked off, at least we'll be able to ignore those. It is going to flag repeated words, so if you've used the same word twice, like my name is David, would find that double word is and replace it if you wanted to with a single occurrence of that word. Enforce accented uppercase in French. If French doesn't apply to you, you don't need to enforce that. Suggest from main dictionary only, or custom dictionaries can be included as well. Now, by default, this is not checked off, so other dictionaries can and will be used. Unless you check it off, then it's just the main dictionary. Something else that's turned on, when correcting spelling in Visio, check spelling as you type. So what's going to happen is you'll see words appear with a red squiggly underline, just like you would in Microsoft Word, indicating that that's a word not recognized in the dictionary. In that case, you have some options. You can run the speller, or you can actually right-click on the word and have spelling options at your fingertips. I'll show you that in a second. If you prefer, you can hide spelling errors by clicking this checkbox. So we'll just click OK here. Those are our options. And now, before we run the spell checker, I want you to just scroll down to the bottom of the drawing and over to the left where it says created by David Flissa. So if we double click in there, that gets us inside the text box, and you can see the word Flissa does have a squiggly red underline. So I'm going to right click on that, and you can see I've got some suggested replacements, and then I've also got some other options like autocorrect. I've got spelling right from here, because this is a proper name that I probably just want to add to the dictionary so it doesn't stop there ever again. It's not something I want to replace with any of these suggested replacements. So we'll leave it as is for now. The speller will come to it when we run the spell check from up here on the Tools menu. So we'll click Tools, Spelling, and then Spelling. Alright, so it's found up here in our title the word, it looks like it should be customer. Change to costumer. No, that's not what we want. We actually want customer, don't we? Customer engagement workflow. So we click our suggestion. This is the one we want. And then our options are, we could ignore that word. No, we don't want to do that. We don't want to ignore it every time it shows up that way. Add it to the dictionary? No, I don't think so. Change is what we want to select. So it gets changed, and automatically the speller moves on to the next word, which is, looks like it should be workflow. There's one too many L's in there, not workfellow. This is the one we want, workflow. Change. Something's happening here. The word staus is not in the dictionary, so it's not finding this word. It's suggesting we replace it with the word stabs. I don't think so. It should be status. Now, if you know for a fact that this mistake has been made more than once, you can choose to change them all. So every time it finds the word staus, replace it with status. So I'm going to choose change all. So always get all changed, and now we're down to that one we started with. The word Flissa is not recognized in the dictionary. We don't want to change it to any of these suggestions. It's a proper name. This would be a perfect one to add to the dictionary, and it will never be treated as a spelling error again. So we click Add, and it looks like the spell check is complete. So we click OK, and we know now that our diagram has proper spelling. So that's all there is to checking spelling in a Visio diagram.